Test,
Testing.
test,
Testing.
test. Ooh, that's,
Good evening. Want to call this meeting to order. First item up, obviously, it's December 19th, and I want to wish the council on my behalf and the council's behalf and town staff and everyone involved with the town of Irmo a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season to everyone. Want to make sure we get that out before the meeting's over and we just adjourn and go home. So, did want to do that. With that, I'm going to call on Councilman Sickinger to lead the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, if you would, sir. Thank you, Eric. First thing up, approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
so move.
I'll second.
It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next item up, reading of the minutes for November 21st, 2023. Would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of November 21st, 2023 meeting.
I second.
Having been appropriately seconded, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Hearing the first and properly seconded, is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next up is our report of standing, the administrative briefing. We've all received it via email. It's posted where it's to be posted. Courtney, do you have anything to add to the administrator? Any highlights you want to hit there?
No, sir, I have no.
Sir, you good? Anything from? No? All good? All right. New in-town businesses. We never really discussed this with the changeover here, but I'm assuming, Councilman, that you're comfortable doing this and continuing doing this?
It'd be my pleasure.
Okay, thank you very much. Take it away.
Cosmic Claws by Eliza. Horsepower Crane. Joy Stag Holistic Wellness. Midland Framing. So Keenan. And Wipe It Down Cleaning Services, LLC. Welcome to the town.
Thank you. Welcome to all those businesses coming to town. We're so happy that they've picked the town of Irmo to do business. And again, welcome and thank you very much. If we can do anything for any of you, please let us know. All right. Next up is our recognition of small business for the month of December. Is Wayne Martin here? Sir, let's everybody come on down in front. Okay, up. You're up, Barb.
Thank you. Tonight, we have several community connections. The first presentation will be by Mr. Julius Scott. He is the Community Support Services Coordinator for School District 5.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Thank you, first and foremost, for your work, and second, for the opportunity to be here tonight. Chances are I'm going to go through some of those slides relatively quickly, but to give you a little context, now been an administrator in School District 5 for 20-plus years, 6 years as an assistant principal at Nursery Road Elementary, last 12 years as principal of Dutch Fork Elementary, and this past spring, Dr. Ross approached me in April about an opportunity to take on a new position. And I believe Mayor Danielson, you and some others may have been involved in some conversations over the last couple of years. And he had a thought in terms of what if. What if we took an opportunity to support not just schools, but our most vulnerable communities in School District 5. It's really not an approach that is taken by most school districts, not just in the city or our state, but really across the country. And when he approached me with it, I had to tell him a quick story, and I'm going to share with you all as well because it just made sense. I'm from Columbia. I'm the youngest of 6 children. I have 5 older siblings. My mother is schizophrenic, clinically diagnosed, and has been in and out of mental health institutions my entire life. As a result, my sisters and I never lived in the same household. My grandmother took 2 of my sisters to raise them. My father and my mother were married, never separated, never divorced. They were married, never divorced. He took 2 of my sisters, and my older sister was basically allowed to do what she needed to do. As a result, I had an aunt who took me in, and she was also raising people. So I grew up in a house of 10, 11 people easily. By the time I graduated from Kenan High School, I had moved 10 times. I saw my dad for the first time when I was 19 years old, and he was in his casket. He had died of a massive heart attack. And I don't share this as a sob story or woe is Julius Scott. I share it because the work that I'm currently doing, I'm no different than the kids who live out in Harbison Gardens. People just need access and opportunity. And so, of course, I did take the job. Started in July, and if y'all can just click that for me, we can just keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. All right, I'm gonna start there. So one of the questions I get is like, well, hey, why did y'all start in Harbison Gardens? Well, as you can see, our district is interesting. When we know this living out in this area, if you consider the Lake Murray attendance zone, it's amongst the wealthiest in the entire state of South Carolina. And of course, the Seven Oaks area is amongst the poorest in the entire state of South Carolina. But you notice some really, really bright red spots. And one of the things that we know is just there are high levels of poverty in those areas. You can keep going. And of course, you notice this bright red spot. That's Harbison Gardens, folks. As of last week, we have 210 students who live in Harbison Gardens. Keep going, please. You can keep going. So ultimately, I'm not going to go through the Section H and Section 42, but I will say this. One of the things that we're trying to figure out is how do we create code of conduct for Section 42 homes? They agreed to sign an MOU with us to say, hey, if they're having issues with any families, ultimately my position would work directly with their property manager and would direct families to my attention, and then I will work with whomever is necessary within our school district to provide support for those families. Keep going. One of the things that we know is a major issue is out-of-school time for students. Between the hours of 3 until 8, we know statistically, and obviously, we have our police department. We know what crime looks like, particularly for our juveniles between those hours. And so our challenge is, what if? What if we went beyond just thinking about what our kids do from 8 until 3 and began to look at what's possible from 3 until 8? So we'll keep going. We'll go one more time. We'll go one more time. Just once more, please. All right, and so here's what I'll tell you, and my running pitch to almost anybody, I want our department to be known for 2 things, really 2 burning questions to guide our work. One, as a department, what is it that we're known for? and what do we want to be known for? At the end of the day, folks, we want to build healthy relationships with community members, with parents at School District 5. We want to be able to create access and opportunities for families, and we want to look at just non-traditional ways to support students. So you can go back one more. You can go for it. So July, when I first got started, we had an opportunity to partner with Irmo Middle School. Our goal was to minimize the number of students who are just sitting at home. So we partnered with our Human Resources Department, the Call Me Misters, and we were able to get students to participate on some additional days so that they weren't home. Got a total of 23 students that were mentored by the Call Me Misters, and we had a pact with them that, hey, if you attend over a set amount of times this summer, we will assist with getting you backpacks for school and school shoes. That was a successful venture, as you can see there. One of the most powerful impacts of that was the principal told me several weeks into the school year, Irmo Middle School students were asking if we were going to do the same thing next year because they wanted to be a part of it. And again, if we have students who are not at home in the summertime, that's a win for the entire area. You can go to the next slide, please. September of 2023, you may have heard, we had a block party out at Harbison Gardens. And so we invited a wide range of community stakeholders, particularly that would serve the needs of families living out there, Medicaid, Healthy Connections, Healthy Learners, Richland County Public Library, Ready by 5, Adult Ed, to ensure that families knew what was available. And the way we set this up was that we offered free food, Chick-fil-A, but they had to go see at least 5 vendors and had to get a stamp to ensure that they saw people. And I'm telling you that helped, because what that did was it introduced them to vendors that they did not know about, and ultimately they began receiving services as a direct result of what we did out there. I will have to tell y'all, the energy, the buzz, just listening to families tell us one or two things. This shows that our district really cares about our community. And I had multiple kids say to me, this shows that we have an opportunity for our neighborhood to be viewed in a positive light. Now, of course, those are my words, not theirs, but that was the sentiment, that because typically when you use the words Harbison Gardens, there isn't too much positive stuff that's coming out of that. All right, so since that time, September 23rd, and so each month now, we are hosting parent engagement events. And so the first one we held was November 23rd. And we really opened up with the notion of what are the hopes and dreams of our families, right? Because I don't care if you live in Harbison Gardens or if you live in the most affluent neighborhood in Irmo. The reality is if you have children, we all have similar hopes and dreams. You know what people said? Man, we want our kids to be safe. I mean, as a dad, I got 2 girls who go to school here in our system. I want my 2 daughters to be safe. We want our kids to be successful. We want our kids to have great opportunities. And so it was a great opportunity because, again, parents said we felt like we're being heard. So it's not just a matter of somebody coming in once, y'all did this block party, and we don't see you again. So that was back in November, and then you fast forward. You can fast forward once more. We were just out there again last week. The primary goal last week was really to help families identify after-school providers. And so we have a partnership with the YMCA Northwest, ICRC, and Universal Church. And so they've all said, hey, Julius, we have multiple slots available. We can assist. So I'll give you some numbers. I mentioned we have 209 students who live out in Harbison Gardens. 73 are elementary, 65 are middle, 75 are high school. 19 out of 73 elementary students are in any after-school program, folks. Let's think about that for a second. That is 26%. And so we wonder why kids are getting into some of the, like, it's not a mystery to me because they're sitting at home, folks. And so our goal is to eradicate that. And so last week, we had some vendors to say, hey, if you're ready to sign up with us, we can. And so we've received multiple grants that will allow us to pay for transportation, but will also allow us to pay for the weekly fees that parents would incur. So you take that off the board, and families are like, absolutely, we're for it. You can go once more. We will have another recruitment roundup, but that will be primarily looking at summer programs because, again, one of our goals is to ensure that our students have access to summer programs, and we all know this. You can't get a kid signed up for a quality program in June. That has to happen way before that time. And so the goal is to have as many providers as possible, and we're looking forward to the opportunity. You can go to the next slide. I'm also happy to announce that in addition to working with our K through 8, we're also working with our high schoolers. And when you're thinking about high school, it's workforce development and opportunities for mentorships, internships. And so we have an MOA with United Way, and we've identified 27 guys, black males, from Irmo High School who have the propensity and opportunity to go to college. And so it is partnering all 27 with a mentor that will meet with them multiple times a month starting in January. There'll be monthly professional development of sorts for them, and then they'll do some paid internships over the course of the summer. And then just the very last slide, the next thing that we'll have coming up and that we're proposing is a community stakeholder engagement. The reality is a lot of the good work that we're doing out here, and I think in a lot of communities, oftentimes are in silos, right? You have a lot of group of people who are doing some great work who don't always talk. And so our thought is, what if? What if we pull some folks together to say, let's just sit down and talk about what are our hopes and dreams for Irmo? What is it that we would like to see for our city, for our community? And so if you all are available, I would welcome you, invite you, and would love to have you just be participants in that conversation. And I don't see it as a monologue. I see it as an opportunity for us to have a true dialogue that is ongoing. So again, I think when we have an opportunity to improve our most vulnerable neighborhoods, ultimately all of Irmo will benefit. And that's my time. I'll certainly open the floor if you have any questions, curiosities. So that's going to be from 9 until 11. Yep, thank you.
Oh, my first question. 9 to 11?
Yes, sir. And I'll send, an email will go out. So,
And-
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys are doing some really great work. I know I was at the United Way presentation. The Mungo Foundation is really stepping up. I know there's
Yes, sir.
other foundations stepping up. So I know I can speak for myself, not for anyone else on the council, but I'll let them do their own speaking. We certainly want to be involved in the helping and the assisting and being there. So please keep me in the email loop and make sure I know when the next event's coming.
Will do.
If you would, please. Comments from other council members?
I have a quick question, Mr. Scott.
Yes,
First
ma'am.
of all, wonderful what I heard you saying. I'm glad that personally that with Harbison Gardens, because you're right. Several months back, they were getting the worst of the press,
sure.
and there were problems, but
right.
that was the only part being said about them. And I know that there are parents in that community that want their children the best life, just like everybody else. The only question I had when you talked about the workforce development initiative that you had, you mentioned males, but is that because males tend to be underrepresented? Just what are you doing for the girls as well?
No, ma'am, that's not the case at all. It's just a
Okay.
matter, it's just an opportunity that came up. And so United Way of Columbia, the Midlands, really followed a program out of Milwaukee. And so
Okay.
as a result, it's like, man, this is a perfect opportunity for School District 5. And again, because my position is so very new, our goal is to obviously include as many opportunities for females as well and not to leave anyone out.
Oh, no, that's great. I mean, I'd be willing to help
sure.
find programs to help that
Yeah.
side of the coin as well.
Yes, ma'am. I think the other piece for us also is City of Columbia and, Mayor, we kind of talked about this a little bit, how to get them involved. Columbia Urban League is our next ally that we'll be having some conversations with to say, again, this is a collective opportunity it's really a great opportunity for the town of Irmo and School District 5, because again, there are not many systems and town councils that are partnering in this way, right? Again, it's typically in isolation. So I think we have an opportunity to do some really meaningful work for our community that will make life better for everybody, and that can serve as a model across the state.
I'll be there. It's on the calendar.
You talked about the males that you had identified for potential college.
Yes, sir.
I was curious about technical kind of trades
Yes, sir.
style work. Was that included in that, or is that a separate?
It can be inclusive of the internships that those guys will have an opportunity to receive. And so again, I'm constantly receiving information. I just had a group reach out the other day. The IRS has a program that they will train 9th through 12th graders on how to do basic tax certification. And I don't know about y'all, But I'm just saying, like, if you can learn that skill in high school, whether you pursue that or not, that's really a side hustle. That can be quite, I don't know if I should use the word hustle, like, please don't take that out of context. But really, you're talking about opportunities that kids could have that can just be really great. So our goal is to say, I have to be in a capacity where I'm talking with as many community members as possible just to get connected to various small business owners, large, small, and to say, what are the opportunities that are available, and are you willing to host students that may be future employees, and really thinking about the job opportunities down the road. So there is not a single type of job that we're saying is out of bounds. So it's both trade, but it's also highly skilled opportunities as well. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Scott, for your presentation. I've heard you speak before, and I knew that council would be very interested in this program, so thank you very
again.
much.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Spot.
Okay.
If you would continue, Barb.
Yes. Okay, on Thursday, January 4th, there will be an elementary level magnet fair at the Center for Advanced Technical Studies from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And that will have all the different magnet programs that are available in School District 5. On this slide, you can see that there's some upcoming magnet information nights at individual schools, but the magnet fair on the 4th will have all of the different programs for the elementary levels programs. They'll all be represented in one place. On January 6th, from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., there will be a recruitment event for School District 5. It'll be held at Irmo Middle School, and this is for certified teachers and other support staff. And if you're interested, you can apply at lexrich5.org/apply. And this will be a great opportunity to interview for any of these job openings. And the last thing I have tonight is just a reminder about the Irmo Chili Cook-Off. It's January 27th. It will be at the Irmo Community Park. And it is not too late to enter as a chili cooker. And as you can see on this slide, there will be cash prizes for first, second, and third place. So if you would like to register to participate in the chili cook-off, you can contact Mr. George Frazier, and his email is on this slide.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to bring to the attention, it's on serving our seniors. Basically, this is a program that's put on by Central Midlands Area Council of Governments. I am the town's representative on that council. Most people attribute infrastructure and roads and all of that with the COG, but there's so much more that they do. And one of the things, and I wanted to make sure we got this out ASAP, is the serving our seniors scenario. People can apply for financial help for a variety of items. Dental services, up to $3,000 per year. Medication reimbursement, $1,500. Hearing aids, $3,000. Glasses reimbursement, $400. They'll come in and they'll do wheelchair ramps. They'll also do some portable heating and AC units. Bottom line, this program started about, I want to guess, 30 days or so ago. It was rolled out at our COG meeting earlier, end of late last week. On Thursday of last week, there was about $2.9 million to start this program, and the money is not being utilized. So these numbers I just gave you are an increase over the numbers originally that were for the program as far as specific assistance. So if you're over 60 years old and you can hear my voice, or you can watch this video, or you can go and pull up the necessary information, I am begging you to call Michaela Myers, who is the program specialist, that is running this program. As of Thursday, there was still in excess of $2 million available in this program. And my understanding is that it is not, you have to fill out a one-page assessment sheet, which I think basically says you have a need and you're alive and have a pulse. That's my understanding, frankly. So it's not I don't believe it's limited from a really impactful economic scenario that you may be in, income, that type of thing. So I'm urging people to get out there and get this help. I don't know how to urge any stronger than for y'all to get out there. If you are involved in any senior organizations, please get this information to them. This is serious money, and now that it's been pushed, I think it'll go in pretty much before the end of the year. So please get people involved. Please, this is free money, folks. This is money the government is giving you. All you have to do is ask. Courtney, do you have any comments to add to that?
No, I mean, I talked to Ms. Myers for just a few moments. They were just really urging our help to get the message out. I think they have a deadline to spend the money by the June or July of next year. And they have a fear that they're not going to get enough applications.
Again, I don't want to dominate the speaker here, but that's just mind-boggling to me that they don't think that they're going to have enough people to take advantage of this program.
Are utilities also part of that? No.
Just what
Just
you
thinking about
see
Blue
on this list. But I'll give you an example. It was dental services up to $2,000, and now they've raised it to $3,000. Okay, thank you, and we'll make sure that we've got this all out, and we get this put out from a town standpoint. Okay, and it's already out there. Please, I'm urging folks, take advantage of this program.
I wanted to, before we get to presentations, one last consideration of communication. First of all, I wanted to thank City of Columbia Water for assisting with the cleanup at the McDonald's from the Lake Murray Boulevard intersection work that had messed everything up, and Councilwoman Dr. Waldman to bring it my attention so I can get it over to them. And it wasn't but a week or two later that they were out there fixing it, which is great. And I also wanted to say thank you to the community for putting out a lot of holiday lights and making their neighborhood good. Over 250 certificates have gone out. That's usually me going out for about an hour and a half every night and handing a bunch of them out. And then the plan is that we will have an award for the top 3 homes in the town. And there are a number of contestants because there's some really cool houses out there.
Thank you. All right, presentation by citizens. Again, I want to remind you, this is, you have 3 minutes, and it's a presentation, not a Q&A. We cannot respond. We're listening to hear what you have to say. And at the end of 3 minutes, we will have to move on to the next. I don't see anybody signed up for this, and this is for strictly agenda items 9 and 10. I'm going to assume no one wants to speak on it at this point, and so we're going to move on. Unfinished business. This is our second and final reading of Ordinance 2326 to amend the Irmo Town Code, Chapter 2, Division 2, Section 2-61, regarding date, time, and place of the meetings. This would change the start time of our regular council meetings to 6:30. I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Having been properly seconded, open for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Renee, will you call the roll? And we'll focus a little on that tonight.
Sure. Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
and Mayor Danielson.
Yes. Okay, next item. Thank you Next item, new business, I'm sorry. Item A, approval of Resolution 23-07, adopting the mutual aid agreements with multiple jurisdictions within the state of South Carolina, basically police departments. This will continue agreements with numerous police agencies to provide assistance when needed during major incidents. I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Hearing a proper second, we'll then open the floor for discussion.
Can we get a definition of major incidents? I mean, cat up a tree or something a little bit more serious?
It could just vary from an event to a sudden incident that might happen. A couple months ago in the town of Gaston, they had some kind of gathering that wasn't announced. It led to a shooting, and they dumped all resources. Law enforcement went to assist with that. So it would just, this is formality as far as us being able to assist and other agencies being able to assist us as well. If we needed help, we would ask a lot of these agencies for help with under the mutual aid agreement.
And seriously, though, the reason I ask is I didn't want the public to think, well, why didn't we get assistance on this particular issue? That's why I was like, what are the boundaries or around that definition? That's all.
Yeah, no, it would be more formal. It wouldn't just be out of nowhere like that. We would know in advance usually.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just get a little bit more clarity. So
Sure.
These agreements are designed specifically to address not only giving law enforcement the jurisdiction to give law enforcement jurisdiction to take enforcement when requested, but also covers them for workers' comp and liabilities that may come out of those assistance requests. So like the chief said, some of these are known in advance, like Bike Week down in Myrtle Beach. Sometimes they call for law enforcement assistance to come down and help with law enforcement. We know that well in advance, and they work on the housing and having the officers down there. But then there may be impromptu situations, such as active shooter in the mall, where City of Columbia needs assistance. They push that to the lower level, like a road sergeant can make those requests when they're at that level. So it doesn't have to be, a timed formal thing. It can be on the fly, but it's pushed down to a supervisor level. So a cat in a tree is not going to get a mutual aid response. But, if there's a burglary close by and they don't have a deputy to assist, or they need a backup unit, this covers our officers to go into those jurisdictions and take police action. And there's formal agreements in place from town council, the police chiefs, and the sheriffs acknowledging that and the procedures to it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Thank you, Courtney. Hearing none, we will call the roll.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
and Mayor Danielson.
Yes. Thank you. Next item up, we're already up to presentation by citizens. And this is anything open that you would like to address or present to council. Again, 3 minutes max. No question and answers, and we're happy to hear from you. So, Mary Kennerly, you're first up. Come on down.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for having me. I'm always glad to be here, and thank you for the work that you do constantly to make this a great place to live. I've put some flyers on the table as people were coming in. I'm representing the School District 5 Foundation tonight. We're holding a fundraising evening on this Thursday night, the shortest day of the entire year at BJ's. On Harbison Boulevard. You don't have to pay anything extra, just eat there, and there's a percentage of their proceeds that night that will go to the foundation to pay for the School District 5 Snack Pack program. Our foundation pays for one week out of the month, every month of the year. And other local churches and civic organizations pay for the other 3 weeks. And we serve a little over 600 children. Every single school in the district has children receiving the snack pack. And 600 children is just a little over 3% of our total school population, so it's not a lot. But these are children who have an insecure food source over the weekends. So we hope you all will come. You do need to have a flyer, although you can go to our Facebook page, and there's a flyer on there that you can present when you go in. So thank you, and we hope you'll be able to come.
Thank you, ma'am. I have nobody else signed up. Is there anybody else who would like to address council at this time?
Mr. Mayor, if I could just mention, I should have mentioned this in my briefing, but our special election is open at this point. December 15th, I believe it opened, and it closes for candidacy filings December 27th. The special election is scheduled in line with Blythewood's as well on February 27th. So there are some early voting periods and absentee and things that can take place before that. If you go to the Lexington County Election Commission website, you can get more details. Our Facebook page has a flyer. Our website has a flyer as well.
Thank you, Courtney. I trust no one will be turned away this time. Okay, seeing none for presentation by citizens. Any other additional discussion items? Hearing none, seeing none. I see no reason. I have not been presented with anything to go into executive session. So we will not go into executive session, and I will hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And Merry Christmas, everybody.